So I want to share with you a little bit of good news about Trump's approval rating, at least with respect to a certain segment of the electorate. And I also want to use that to talk about how utterly unserious so many people in this country are. And of course, that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump is now president again. Anyway, take a look at this article here. Not cool anymore? Trump sees massive drop in young people support after riding them to an election win. It says Trump won nearly 50% of youth voters in the 2024 election. That's unbelievable. A new poll shows President Donald Trump's much vaunted success with younger voters seems to have stalled, as his approval rating among that demographic continues to fall. Just 39% of adults under 30 years old who responded to the latest Economist YouGov poll reported a favorable opinion of the convicted felon. That number stood at 50% just 2 weeks ago. Adults in the 30 to 44 years old bracket who viewed him favorably also dropped from 45% to 42%. Overall, 46% of respondents approve of Trump's second presidency, according to this week's poll, a drop of 3% compared to late last month. By the way, these are opinion polls. These are approval polls. Just like pre-election polls, they're all over the place. I know there's been some recent polling data showing Trump with a 53% approval rating, and that's the one that's getting the most play, right? Because that's what the media does. They want to report on good numbers for Donald Trump because they want to stay in his good graces. So if you have one poll that shows him at 53 and another poll that shows him at 46, which one do you think is going to get most of the play in the mainstream media? It's the 53% approval rating poll. That's what they're going to push out because that's what makes Trump happy. And if they push the other one out, Trump will attack them and threaten to ban them from the White House and all that kind of crap. So they're playing right along. And because they are, I had somebody in the comments section the other day try to defend the media for never asking follow-up questions of Trump in these ridiculous Oval Office executive order signing ceremonies. And this person's point was, give them a break. They have to do this because if they don't, Trump is going to ban them from the White House and this is their career, this is their job. Yeah, I get it, but I don't give a shit. Because if that's what they're going to do, then they're no better than state-run media in Russia. If they're just going to do Trump's bidding because they're afraid to lose their credentials at the White House and it might negatively affect their career, then they are no better than state-run propaganda media in Russia. And by the way, you know what they should do? When Donald Trump bans AP from the White House because they didn't go along with his bogus executive order renaming the Gulf of Mexico, and what should have happened is all the other reporters who have White House access, they all should have said, if you are kicking out AP for them just exercising their First Amendment rights and reporting this story the way they want, if you're going to kick them out, then none of us are going to show up and cover your ridiculous little signing ceremonies either. And you could just have Fox News and Breitbart. Okay, that's what they should do. And Trump doesn't want just Fox News and Breitbart. He wants as many people there as possible. He wants, and believe me, it's the mainstream press that he really wants there because he's always been desperate for their approval. And so he's been beating them over the head to make them go along with him, to give the appearance that they all love him and approve of him. They don't. They're doing this out of fear. But anyways, the point is that's what they should do. They should stick together. You're going to ban the AP because you don't like the reporting, then none of us are showing up either. That's what they should do, not kowtow to this crap. Anyway, my point about how unbelievably absurd and unserious so many people in this country are. So you see that Donald Trump in this last election got like 50% support from young people, which is utterly absurd if they knew anything. They have no idea how badly they were voting against their own self-interest. But here's the absurd part, because I think I understand why he got so much support from the young people. And it's the fact that he's such a buffoon, that he's entertaining. Now, there is evidence that, remember during the debate when Donald Trump said they're eating the cats and dogs, and he did that horrendous debate performance, one of the worst presidential debate performances in history. He got his clock cleaned by Kamala Harris. And he said that ridiculous line about they're eating the cats and the dogs. He went on and on about it. And that was like the news for like a week. And the whole country was making fun of him. And if you went on social media, like you go onto TikTok, and there were all kinds of videos. They took the little clips of him saying that, and they like redubbed it and mixed it and all this stuff, and they turned it into a song with Donald Trump appearing to rap about they're eating the cats and dogs, and all kinds of stuff like that. And those videos went like mega viral. And they were entertaining. And so here you have a presidential candidate making an absolute ass of himself, saying ridiculous things, but then that ridiculous thing was turned into these viral video clips that people laughed at and loved, and it was entertaining. And that explains a lot of the support among young people for Donald Trump, because following that debate, Donald Trump's approval rating actually went up. After that debate performance, you would have expected his approval rating to drop, or his position in the polls to drop. Didn't. It went up. Because that ridiculous eating the cats and dogs line probably helped him. And this is what helps him with young people. The social media crap. They find him more entertaining. Somebody who talks about eating the cats and dogs and does the double-handed jerk-off move to YMCA and all that other kind of crap. They find that more entertaining. And it is more entertaining than just a serious, sober politician talking about policy. That's boring. Who wants to... We want our president to be entertaining. That's why we tune in. How do they play on TikTok? And you know what? Since the election, the Trump team is not all over social media anymore, pushing out these funny little clips and all that kind of stuff, right? So you're not getting that anymore. And now all of a sudden, his approval rating among that demographic is going back down. I don't know, it's not necessarily proof of anything, but it is an interesting observation. And I think there is something to this, because so many people in this country, especially young people, let's be honest, utterly unserious. Excuse me. I'm trying to hold back a cough. Utterly unserious. And this kind of crap is what moves the vote. It really does. It's a real horrible position that we're in, with so much that was on the line in this last election. And if this is true, if the eating the cats and dogs videos on TikTok actually moved lots of young people to vote for him, and maybe could have helped tip the election to Donald Trump, that is really fucking pathetic. But welcome to America 2025. Or, in that case, 2024. Not a serious country. I don't know how you can even argue the point that we're not a serious country. We're not.